Do you feel like you've tried everything, but nothing works? We really get it, and we want to help you break free. I'm Chloë Urban, the co-director of the La Chiara Method and your podcast co-host, and I'm thrilled to invite you to our free masterclass, The 4 Pillars of Lasting Change. Discover what you're missing. In this powerful session, we'll dive into the key areas that keep you stuck in your life. We'll explore why perfectionism and overwhelm are so hard to shake, how trauma silently shapes your daily life, and why change feels so difficult to achieve. Plus, we'll show you how to unlock the power of your survival brain and explore the possibilities that energy medicine brings for real, sustainable healing and transformation. The masterclass is at noon Eastern Time on September 17th. And yes, there will be a replay. To sign up, go to lachiaramethod.com/masterclass. That link is also in the show notes. We can't wait to have you with us. Hello, and welcome to your bonus episode that was inspired by Caroline's session in episode 12. So if you haven't checked that episode out yet, you'll definitely want to. It's really so good. But don't worry, you don't have to listen for this episode to make sense. I wanted to talk about the complex and sometimes heart-wrenching topic of belonging, of not fitting in, and the idea of being quote-unquote normal. And a surprising turnaround that might bring some relief to you. It certainly has for me. This is a topic probably every single one of us has navigated in our lives in one way or another. I know for myself, it's been something that has been a pretty cornerstone key challenge that I've had to navigate and do a lot of healing around. The thing about belonging, or the lack of it, is that it can be so isolating. We can create these stories in our minds that really can just be so crushing. But belonging or not belonging, fitting in and being quote unquote normal, it's all just part of being human. And it's a genuine need we all have that can be really quite confusing. And living in oppressive cultures, we can really begin to internalize this notion that we shouldn't want to belong. Like somehow it's more evolved if you don't need to belong or fit in. But in reality, how can we not want that? We're born through another human body into a family, usually, and yet distinctively different and unique. It's a conundrum our sweet little brains have to navigate from the very beginning for survival, both physically and emotionally. It can get so warped and twisted as we realize that we may have to change ourselves or take on an identity as a way to survive our families or socially at school, following the rules that are laid out for us. The list just goes on in all the places in life that we have to navigate fitting in or not fitting in, changing ourselves or not changing ourselves. And I really want to share a moment from episode 12 that really stuck with me. Gabrielle talked about debunking what we think of as quote-unquote normal. She said, that brings me to debunking a bit of what we call the norm. I wonder, in your experience, what percentage of people in your community or within your sphere do you think truly feel like they fit in, completely at ease and comfortable, believing that life is easy because they just roll with it? What's the real percentage of humans who actually feel normal and at ease? It's interesting because aiming for that feeling of ease and comfort is likely striving for something that's different from what most people around you experience. It's a distortion. You might look over and think someone else has that ease, and maybe they do in that moment. But is it like that permanently? It feels like part of this is dismantling the vision in your mind of what you think success looks like, or even what you're trying to protect yourself from. And again, you'll want to check out this session to really get into the deeper parts of this, but I just loved this. It feels so, so true. Like, have you ever sat there comparing? making up all the stories or thinking that somehow feeling normal and at ease is actually something anyone can sustain permanently. To me, this is the work of rehumanizing ourselves, of recognizing that being human isn't always easy and certainly isn't always comfortable. And how do we then build more capacity to hold the discomfort, the fear, the tremble? Something I see that gets really distorted or twisted in people is when we're talking about fitting in or belonging. And then the question really becomes like, to who? To what? I used to just want to belong everywhere with everyone. And if I didn't feel like I belonged, and honestly, that was most places, then I would just trash talk myself and I would put myself down and make up a bunch of stories as to why people didn't like me. I would even go as far as to begin to imagine what's going on in other people's minds about me, or start to form whole scenes in my mind about what an incredible time everyone else was having and why couldn't I just be normal? Why did I care so much? Why was my life so hard? And yet, why was it that for so long I would try so hard to belong where I didn't? Some of the people I was trying to belong to were so out of alignment with my values, my morals, and I was twisting myself in a million pretzels trying to find some shape or size with which I could fit in or belong in places where I'm really not sure I did. I would try to help people that really didn't want my help, like spending years in relationships with people who are actively in addiction, not wanting to change. Yet I was doing everything in my power to change them, heal them, but it didn't work, not even a little bit. And yet, when I would step into a healing session with someone that was ready and wanting to do their healing work, it was so powerful and effective. I belonged in that room or on that call with somebody, but I'm not sure I belonged in those addicted or abusive relationships, or in those friend groups where people weren't aligned at all on values, who weren't treating me with mutual respect and care. So I wonder, are you willing to know where you belong and where you might not belong? Are there places in your life that are coming up for you as I'm sharing that you might be trying to jam yourself in, like trying to jam a square peg into a round hole? I want to end with a quote by Maya Angelou that Brené Brown talks a lot about in her book, Braving the Wilderness. This quote is near and dear to my heart and was first shared with me by my partner in probably the first weeks of dating. And we've come back to it again and again together over the years. I even made a piece of art for him with the quote woven in. The quote is this: "You are only free when you realize you belong no place. You belong every place. No place at all. The price is high. The reward is great." I'll let you mull on that one. To me, it is so freaking liberating to imagine that maybe I don't need to belong everywhere. Maybe that's actually a distortion that causes me more pain than anything else. I could go on and on for hours about this topic, but I will leave it at that. Oh, and just as a reminder, don't forget to sign up for our free masterclass, The 4 Pillars of Lasting Change, Discover What You're Missing, on September 17th. It's going to be an enlightening lunch hour. Again, to sign up, you can go to our website, lakiaramethod.com/masterclass, and you can find that link also in the show notes.